You don't need lightning-fast reflexes, crazy button mashing, or massive memory bank of 50 different combos to beat Nioh 3. Today, we're turning this game into absolute easy mode by introducing only the most brain-dead effective skills across all 7 samurai weapons. This is Tateyu, and I'm gonna start with the universal setup that's gonna make you god tier, then we'll move on to each individual weapon. After this video, whether you've been hiding behind a ninja build, already dropped the game once, or just completely overwhelmed as a beginner, that all ends right now. And who knows, down the line, this might even give you the confidence to experiment and push your limits even further. But hey, that's your call. Alright, let's dive in. First up, the universal setup. Let's head over to the internal rift and pay our Gudo tea house a visit. In the menu, choose transfer and select the Toyotomi clan. Toyotomi grants you extra Amrita gain and life recovery whenever you absorb Amrita. Next, hit up the blacksmith. Under Reforge, you can reforge all your equipment. That includes your weapons and armor. And you want to try to get life recovery on every single piece of gear. As for accessories, since you can't reforge them, just keep an eye out for any accessory drops that happens to have the life recovery effect. Now let's pray to our shrine. Open up the menu. Our first stop is skill management. Under common skills, make sure you pick these 3. Versatility. This increases your damage if you keep switching up your martial arts. Repelled expert. This extends the window of your style shift burst break for burst attacks. Style shift flow. This allows you to cancel your attacks with a style shift or a burst break. Next, under samurai skills, grab these. Destructive arts increases the damage of elemental and status element buildup by 10%. Oppressive strength gives you super armor when you're chaining up your arts proficiency. Deflection expert extends your parry window. Resilient arts boost your arts proficiency damage by 8%. Running water enables you to perform a key pause just by dodging. Next up, leveling up. First, make sure you have more than 25 magic points to unlock the 5th slot of the end position. Also, heart affects your ki, and stamina affects your health and maximum equipment weight, which basically means your defense, so make sure stamina is over 30. Strength is your raw damage, of course. The skill affects your arts proficiency damage. Keep those in mind and allocate your points accordingly. Next up, let's manage your soul core using the Almayo box. In the Yan position, choose Nupepo, which gives you more Amrita when hitting enemies and grants life recovery. Then choose Gozuki, which reduces the damage you take while attacking. In the end position, we're setting up our talismans. Choose Mermaid for the Life Leech talisman, so you can steal life from enemies on hit. Choose Gaki Chief for the Extraction talisman, to get even more Amrita when hitting enemies. Choose Ibaraki Doji for Carnage talismans, which lowers your defense but gives you a massive, nearly 50% increase to melee damage. Choose Maelstrom Onibi for the Water talisman to enchant your weapon with water. Choose Thunderstorm Onibi for the Lightning talisman to enchant your weapon with lightning. Next up, let's change our Guardian Spirit. For this setup, we need to choose Guhin. Guhin's special effects include reducing martial arts ki consumption and reducing overall damage taken. Plus, one of its spirit skills is 8-handed blade, which lands a ton of hits, meaning you get a massive flood of Amrita when you're out of ki. Next up, our last stop is blessings. Under clan protection, choose Amrita gained and life recovery. And finally, under acquired martial arts in the samurai skill tree, you're going to want to select them all. Now, if you are an old-timer, all of these skill setup will come to you naturally. If you are a newcomer, just make sure you hold on to any equipment that has life recovery. And if you already beat the game once, start looking for divine armor with the grace of Benzaiten. Every part of this universal setup serves one single purpose: absolute life recovery and damage reduction during combat. Combined with high damage martial arts, once you start your arts proficiency chain, you can literally bully powerful enemies into the dirt. The only thing that can actually stop you is a grapple. Now for the fun part, the weapons. Just like we did in the all ninja weapon guide, I'll start each weapon with a skill setup page, equipping only the skills I recommend, and by that I mean they are literally the only moves you need. Then I'll break down each skill, how it looks, what it does, and why it works in real fight. Axes sure look powerful, I mean just look at it. but the playstyle is as simple as it is strong. First, the skill setup page. For your Mystic Art, choose Inner Light. Why? Well, because the other option means 0 ki. Yeah, 0 ki basically means death in Nioh. For ki damage, you have Stone Mallet and Victory Rush. Yes, you have two, and you can actually chain them together without even needing to switch stances. For your main damage, use Tornado Edge. You can use Bear Spin Fire for fire damage or Titanic Strength Water for water damage. But honestly, they aren't necessary, and that's it. Basically, a 3-move weapon. In combat, just repeat Stone Mallet and Victory Rush. Stop whenever you see an attack coming, and once you depleted their ki or have your arts proficiency ready, just throw Tornado Edge into the mix however you like. That is all you need to do. And I don't even need to mention human enemies. Do whatever you want to them, they won't even be able to move. Cestuses, the official cheat weapon of the game. First, the skill setup page. For your Mystic Art, choose Unbowed to reduce your ki consumption. You also need to unlock Unbroken for the sweet extra damage. For ki damage, Kick Cycle and Spinning Kicks are both great. And again, you can chain them together. But with Spinning Kicks, you also have a secret combo. If you do Spinning Kicks in high stance, transition into Frost Moon Humanity, then do Spinning Kicks in mid stance, and transition into Frost Moon Heaven, by looping this, your ki will never run out. You can do this infinitely. Just imagine doing that with Arts Proficiency activated. It is an incredibly powerful combo. However, those aren't even your main damage dealers. For serious damage, we have Fists of Reckoning. Whenever an enemy is out of ki or staggered, hit them with a light attack, then hold down the strong attack button and just sit back for massive damage. Your other main damage option is Limitless, and make sure it is the first one, not the second one. For this, you don't need Execution. In fact, go ahead and unequip Execution entirely. Whenever an enemy is staggered, switch to high stance and unleash this super punch. You can even follow this up right after Fists of Reckoning when fighting human enemies. Fists of Reckoning will deplete their ki, and then boom, here comes the super punch. For your Arts Proficiency chain, putting Spinning Kicks and Fists of Reckoning together is all you need. You can also toy around with Beyond Infinity, but it's more of a flashy toy than something you actually need. In combat, just stick to the Spinning Kicks and Kick Cycle combo, or the Frost Moon loop. When the enemy is staggered, drop Fist of Reckoning. If you just want to maintain your ki, then Spinning Kicks and Frost Moon combo is already powerful enough on its own with Arts Proficiency. Dual Swords are incredibly simple and powerful and fun. First, the skill page. For your Mystic Art, choose Momentum, which reduces your ki consumption as long as you keep attacking. And that is exactly where Dual Swords are best at. For this weapon, the first thing I have to talk about is Winter Wind. This move can follow up literally any other move, meaning every single attack combined with Winter Wind can make your combos run smooth as butter. For ki damage, you have God of Wind. It's not super outstanding on its own, but when you pair it with Winter Wind, it can become very powerful. For raw damage, we have Windstorm 2 and Double-Headed Slice. If you chain these two together, it becomes the most powerful combo for Dual Swords, especially with Arts Proficiency activated. Then we have the absolute headliner of Dual Sword, Water Sword 2. Now the trick with Water Sword is, don't use it with Arts Proficiency. If you do, the game will actually force you to stop attacking early, even if you still have plenty of ki left. Just execute it without Arts Proficiency, and this absolute blender is what you get. Also, don't forget to unequip your execution so you can do this. In combat, just use the God of Wind into Winter Wind combo to deplete their ki. Then use Windstorm 2 and Double-Headed Slice combo for your main damage and Arts Proficiency chains. Whenever you get a big opening, drop that non-Arts Proficiency Water Sword 2 and let the fun begin. Odachi is just as strong and simple as Axis. First, the skill page. For your Mystic Art, choose Shifting Serenity, since we'll constantly be executing Waking Winds and Sunset Breeze. For ki damage, use Crushing Waves, Crushing waves can also connect into something else, which I'll explain in a second. For damage, here is where it gets really interesting. Look at these two skills. Weaken Wind's Heaven means if you do a quick attack in mid stance followed by a strong attack, it automatically transitions into the high stance strong attack, shifting your stance to high. Then we have Sunset Breeze Man, which means if you do a strong attack in high stance followed by a quick attack, you automatically shift back into mid stance. So now you can completely loop between quick and strong attacks, shifting seamlessly between mid and high stance. Since both of these counts as martial arts, your weapon won't bounce off guards, and you can easily chain it with arts proficiency. Your second damage option is Ground Sweeper. Ground Sweeper isn't quite as powerful as the stance loop, but it costs less ki, and because it moves you in a zigzag pattern, you might actually naturally avoid some incoming attacks. And remember Crushing Waves? If you unlock Sunset Breeze Earth, since Crushing Waves count as a strong attack itself, you can follow it up with a light attack to go directly into Ground Sweeper. It's a nice little combo. For your finisher, the Odachi has a special skill called Dragon Horn, which increases your spirit force, so don't forget to equip it. In combat, the Odachi is beautifully simple, using Crushing Waves to deplete the enemy's ki, then loop your strong and light attacks, or just do Ground Sweeper. It all depends on how you like to play it. Spear is pretty straightforward. First, the skill page. For your Mystic Art, choose Stability to increase your overall damage. For ki damage, you have Spear Bash, which follows a strong attack. It deals great damage to both ki and health, but it is a bit slow. Then you have Spear Shove, which is purely there to chunk ki. You can choose either one. The only catch with Spear Shove is that it uses the exact same slot as our main damage move, so just make sure to equip Spear Shove in your mid and low stances instead. For your primary damage, you have two options. The first is Piercing Rain, which is an iconic spear move. However, Triple Threat is actually the more powerful choice here. When using Triple Threat, just like the timing of perfect ki pause, you have to press light attack when the glow is gathering around you to get that massive damage boost. In combat, just use either Spear Bash or Spear Shove to break the enemy's ki. And then, you can either loop Piercing Rain or Triple Threat with Frost Moon in between. It works exactly the same as your Arts Proficiency chain. The Switchglaive is another only 3 moves kind of weapon, right alongside Axis and Odachi. First, the skill page. For your Mystic Art, choose Wildfire Flux. This increases your damage as you continuously switch your glaive stances, which is exactly what we want to do. For ki damage, we have Mind's Edge, just a simple clean hit out of mid stance. For our main damage, we only need 2 skills, Empty Retribution and Switch Stance Blade. That's it, and here's how you use it. Perform Empty Retribution, and before the animation ends, switch to low stance to automatically trigger Switch Stance Blade. Immediately after that hits, switch back to high stance and do Empty Retribution again. Loop this back and forth, turn it into pure muscle memory, and you're set. So in combat, use Mind's Edge to break the enemy's ki, and then just execute the loop. It gets even crazier if you have Arts Proficiency activated. Finally, we have the sword. I actually have a dedicated video specifically for this weapon, so I'll keep this summary pretty quick. Swords have a ton of different ways to deal damage, and it really depends on your personal playstyle, making it feel pretty unique compared to all the other weapons. First, the skill setup page. For your Mystic Art, choose Sword of Salvation to increase your parry window. For ki damage, Swords possesses one of the best moves in the game, Sword Ki. For damage, you have the iconic Morning Moon. You also have a straight up cheat move called Severing Spin. Then there's Reverse Impact for massive damage numbers, though it'll cost you some ki. For your quick attacks, you have Flowing Shadow, which becomes incredibly powerful when combined with a Burst Break Cancel. For your Arts Proficiency chain, you can combine Heaven Flash and Heaven Flash Lightning together. Put one in high stance and the other in low, and your ki will actually grow back. Swords also have 2 skills specifically designed to bully human enemies, Sword of Meditation and Flowing Mist. Flowing Mist will knock human enemies right to the ground, leaving them wide open to get hit by Sword of Meditation. And since you're running Sword of Meditation, it is actually better to unequip Execution here. In combat, rely on Sword Key and Frost Moon for your key damage. When it comes to Arts Proficiency combos, just beware that if Severance Spin gets successfully parried, it might completely drain your key. Also, since Morning Moon requires a pre-input setup, you run the risk of getting interrupted. So, to play this safe, looping Heaven Flash and Heaven Flash Lightning is the better choice. Alternatively, you can loop Flowing Shadow and Reverse Impact if you want to see some massive damage numbers. And that covers all the samurai weapons and their most useful skills. Pick the one that catches your eye, set up the skills I recommended, and you will feel the difference immediately. If this guide helped you out, smash the like button and subscribe for more content. Drop a comment letting me know which weapon you're gonna run first. This is Tateyu, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.